everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Serrated Cucumber, and we just got another piece of Life is Strange True Colors information. On top of the reveal trailer which aired at the Square Enix Direct event last month, the Life is Strange YouTube channel has just released a short video of an opening scene from the upcoming title, and this is our first clip of uninterrupted gameplay we're seeing. The clip features Alex sitting at some kind of interview with a Dr. Lin talking about her plans for once she leaves the place she's staying. We learn lots of information about Alex and her background based on this short interview, and several small details are divulged which, while small bits of dialogue at the surface, they actually tell us a lot about Alex's character. First off, visibly and character aside, Deck 9 have really stepped up the visual aspects of the game, even from Life is Strange 2. Alex's lip movements appear noticeably soft and tentative. You can really feel her mood through the way her voice acting is coupled with her character model's movements. Comparing it to the second Life is Strange game, Alex's movements are minute and nuanced. Emotion doesn't even have to be shown through bold expressions. There are several small signs such as her aversion of eye contact, adjusting her sitting position in her chair, her small, shy nods. The facial tracking is an immense improvement, and it was one of the first things I noticed in this video. It's a visually unimpressive scene, it's not very inspired, it has a very bland palette, but yet it still manages to impress me with its visual flair of animation style alone. Now this is a good sign of things to come for certain, because this will not be any kind of climax, this is just an introductory scene. The next thing, Dr. Lin, Alex's social worker. She seems to be the one who has made her live at the Helping Hands group home for 8 years. If Alex is 21, as she is believed to be, this means she has lived here since she was 13. This would make sense given that Gabe, her older brother, might have already been on his way to starting a new life by the time Alex went into foster care, or as we see it now, a group home. I'm getting similar vibes to Fireweed from Tell Me Why here, and I'm thinking we might get a gameplay segment at the beginning of the game which enables us to look around Alex's room and to learn and infer things about the past 8 years. It would be a good way to introduce us to Alex as we know her. While Max and Sean were certainly more of blank slates in the beginning of their journeys, they still had a lot of storytelling done through their personal environments. Max's dorm and Sean's bedroom introduced us to significant hobbies, habits, and interests of the characters. Max's plant keeping, for example, her guitar, her design style, her clothes, and her favourite photographers. Sean with his sketches, skateboard, his running trophies, his work uniform, etc. Now for Alex, there is simply no way to showcase this environment once she gets to Haven Springs. She will arrive merely with the clothes on her back, and so I think after this scene takes place, we may get introduced to a scene in her bedroom, where we can see her creature comforts in her environment. This, I'd imagine, will probably be a gameplay segment. Another thing to note is Alex herself and her plans. Haven Springs seems a little short-sighted for her. It feels like she's only going there because of her brother, and I can imagine this will only drive her sadness further when her brother dies, as she might feel like she doesn't have a place here. Poor Alex. She mentions being able to pick shifts up at a bar maybe, so it seems that much like Sean, she has little idea of where she wants her life to go in the long term. Perhaps this will be a theme explored a little in the game, as it is a coming of age story, and Alex might talk about where she'd like to end up one day. Hell, it might even be influenced by player choice, we'll just have to see. Once the interview moves on to Lynn asking about Alex's social tendencies, her face seems to sour, averting eye contact and speaking far quieter. Maybe, she mumbles, as if knowing what she says will not convince Dr. Lin that she is actually ready to make those kind of steps in her life. Then, arguably the most interesting part of the interview. Lynn scrolls her notes down before asking, "Does your brother know about your..." And she pauses for a moment, as if considering what to say, and finally decides on the word issues. While one might assume this just means some form of anxiety or problem, Alex quickly dispels this with her next words. Now she is definitely talking about the power here, or at least the effect it has on her. However, we do know from the announcement trailer that she says "I've never told anyone" when referring to her ability to read the emotions of others. I do still think she's talking about the power though despite this statement, but she's not referring to that as the issue. We know that when large-scale emotional situations happen, Alex is unable to control herself. I think Dr. Lin may be familiar with Alex's outbursts, and these may be the issues she is referring to. Perhaps Lin assumes this is simply a trauma of Alex's or something like that, as it seems that nobody has knowledge of the power before she discloses it. This would make Alex the first Life is Strange protagonist to have her powers before the story has even begun, and so the question stands, where did she get them? From her parents, perhaps? It's way too early to tell and we don't have enough to go on yet, but I place a firm bet on that. We know that in past games the powers have been unearthed by strong and sudden emotion, both times being the death of a loved one, from being shot with a handgun. This has been the consistency in both games before this. Max discovered she could rewind time after she saw Chloe get shot in the school bathroom, and Daniel discovered he was telekinetic after his dad was shot by a cop. Either way, she denies that her brother knows about her issues, these issues presumably being the outbursts she has from her powers. Alex then goes on a long talk about being a normal girl in a normal town, implying that because of her powers and the outbursts as a result from them, she feels abnormal, as if the view at her group home of her is one tainted by the powers curse that it may bring to her life. Now buckle up, because I think we may be in for a bit of a trauma from Alex as she learns to accept her powers for strengths rather than just the pain it's inflicted on her. Much to think about. This may be the first bit of gameplay that the team has released of the game, but I don't think it's by any means the last we'll see. I plan on covering any and all released footage of the game from now until the game's release on September 10th, and so why not subscribe and stick around with me for the ride? What did you think of this scene, and are you excited for the game? Let me know in the comments below. I've already pre-ordered mine and I can't wait to binge the entire thing. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I cover Life is Strange primarily and I'm looking into other games, so if game analysis is your thing, then watch this space. And as always, remember to keep your cucumbers serrated and have a nice day. Bye!